Good morning students. Today we are going to continue the secondary treatment plant as well as the tertiary treatment plant. So today we are going to cover the last topic of the wastewater treatment plant, and the last topic is the tertiary treatment plant. So it comes under the MSc EVS semester 3 paper 1, that is Advanced Pollution Control Technology, Unit 1, water and wastewater pollution control. Topic that is secondary clarifier and tertiary treatment. Both this topic we have to cover it today, and by ending this topic, that is wastewater treatment process. Next, before starting the secondary treatment plant or secondary clarifier, we are going to take a small topic is given. So that is extended aeration. So what is extended aeration? It is this is another modification of the activated sludge process, and it uses a long aeration period of 24 to 48 hours. तो एक ऐसा प्रकार का modification है activated sludge process का. So it is one type of modification of the activated sludge process, and it uses a long aeration period, जहाँ पे बहुत लॉन्ग ड्यूरेशन के लिए एरेशन को यूटिलाइज किया जाता है. सो इट यूजेस अ लॉन्ग एरेशन पीरियड फॉर 24 to 48 hours of aeration is required. Now this process normally operates in the endogenous respiration zone, which requires relatively low organic loading or long aeration time. मतलब एक ऐसा ऑपरेशन एक ऐसा प्रोसेस है जहाँ पे कि नॉर्मली बहुत कम अमाउंट में ऑर्गेनिक मैटर होना चाहिए, एज वेल एज दी यू कैन से दैट इट शुड हैव अ लो ऑर्गेनिक matter in the wastewater, and the long aeration time is required. Long aeration time is required, and this process produces less sludge. So you can say that extended aeration process, it normally you can say that the process produces a very less sludge volume, and digested sludge is relatively inoffensive in nature, or you can say that it doesn't give a bad odor. It doesn't give a bad odor. So you can say that this process produces less sludge volume, as well as it produces the less inoffensive in nature, and the sludge produced is thus capable of being taken directly to the sludge drying bed. So we can easily, after this extended aeration, we can directly take this sludge to the sludge drying bed, and its operation cost is very high. You can say that the operation of this process is also simple due to the elimination of the primary settling and separate sludge digestion. The operation cost of this process is very high. However, it's very high because of long aeration time. Here we can find out the aeration time is normally 24 to 48 hours. Because of the long aeration time, its operating cost is very high, and this process is used extensively for the prefabricated packages. You can say that this process here it is already ready-made packages is applied or provided to the plant for small communities, isolated institutions, school, etc., having the low sewage flow. So where there is a very low sewage flow, there a ready-made packaging is provided, that is prefabricated, मतलब पहले से तैयार किया हुआ मॉडल पैकेज और मॉडल हम बोल सकते हैं. इट इज़ अप्लाइड जहाँ पे सीवेज क्वांटिटी बहुत कम हो. फॉर एग्जांपल छोटे मोटे कम्युनिटीज़ के लिए, खुद छोटे मोटे इंस्टीट्यूशन के लिए, छोटे बड़े स्कूल्स के लिए जहाँ पे सीवेज का जो क्वांटिटी है वो कम हो या सीवेज फ्लो कम हो, वहाँ पे हम एक्सटेंडेड एरेशन का ये जो टेक्निक है, एक्टिवेटेड स्लज प्रोसेस का जो टेक्निक है वो हम यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं एंड अप्लाई टू इट. Now coming up to the main topic, that is secondary clarifier. So the basic purpose of the secondary clarifier is to separate solids from the liquids through the process of gravity sedimentation. So you can say that secondary clarifier is the basic purpose of the secondary clarifier is to separate the solid from the liquid through the process of gravity sedimentation. So what you are doing, you are separating the solid from the liquid in this stage. Now coming up to the working, the mixed liquor, that is effluent, from the solid contact basins flow into the center of the secondary clarifier tank through the vertical inlet pipe. So if consider it is a tank, so this effluent enters from the vertical inlet pipe that is present in the center, and then it is added to the secondary clarifier. So you can say that the mixed liquor from the solid contact basin flow into the center of the secondary clarifier tank. मतलब ये पानी का जो बहाव होता है वो बीच में स्प्रेड किया जाता है so that equally distribute हो through the vertical inlet pipe, and the inlet pipe has a rectangular opening. जो रेक्टेंगुलर पाइप इनलेट पाइप होता है उसका एक रेक्टेंगुलर ओपनिंग होता है, एंड दिस रेक्टेंगुलर ओपनिंग allows the flow to disperse from the center to the clarifier tank. So this rectangular opening help to disperse the water from the center to the clarifier tank. And an flocculation well is located just at the center, and solids at the bottom of the clarifier are withdrawn by rotating sludge collector mechanism. So but just by seeing the diagram we can easily understand how the working of the secondary clarifier is done. So this is the diagram of the secondary clarifier. So here you can say that the water enters from the inlet pipe and then it is dispersed throughout the secondary clarifier tank, and the heavy or dense metal, this settles at the bottom, and then it is collected. This arms is collecting the sludge, and this sludge then it is taken out. So this is how the secondary clarifier works. So the working of the secondary clarifier, you can easily find it out by means of a video which I am going to send the link. So go through the video and you can easily see how does this clarifier work in case of industry or sewage treatment plant or any other wastewater treatment process. So this is again the same secondary clarifier. Go through the video and then go through the diagrams. So here control panel is there. Next you can say that this is the drive shaft. Here rake arms are provided. These rake arms they usually use to rotate it, and from here the sludge is collected from the center. So go through the videos and try to understand the working of the secondary clarifier. Next, coming up to the sludge drying beds. So here the digested sludge normally they contain 70% of the moisture content, and which must be removed. So during this sludge drying, what we are doing, we are removing the moisture content from the sludge, and the sludge is dried in open space. So the sludge, first the moisture content of the sludge is removed and then it is dried in open space, and then the sand and the gravel layers with the bottom collecting the system for drain out water. So here, in order to remove the sludge from the water, what we are doing, we are making use of the layers of sand as well as the gravel at the bottom, and then the water is drained out. Just by seeing in picture, you can easily say that how does it works, or working of the sludge drying bed. Here you can find it out. There is a layer of sand. These are the layers of sand, and this is the layer of the gravel. So the sand is followed by the gravel, and here the dumping of the sludge is done. So the moisture content, that is water content, is removed off and it is drained off, then it is collected to the open joint pipes. This is again a same picture. Here the sludge is poured on the drainage layer. It is consisting of the gravel, and top layer is consisting of the sand, and the drained water it is utilized, and the top surface is utilized for the sludge, or the sludge is dried. So here you can say that open drying of the sludge is done. So here you can see the picture of anaerobic digestion. So wherever we get the sludge, either from the activated sludge or trickling filters or the rotating biological contractor, here what we are doing, we are making use of sludge to liberate certain energy sources. Like the sludge can be used for the production of certain gases, methane like gases. So here anaerobic digestion is done over here in this type of tank, and usually this type of tank is normally dome shape in structure, and they are totally covered. So the shape of the anaerobic digestion is totally covered. So whenever in an industry you can come across with certain type of dome like structure which is totally covered, here anaerobic digestion process is normally taking place. So this is the main working on the model of the digestion of the anaerobic process. So here you can find out this sludge is present, and this sludge, this is a blade is provided, is used to mix the sludge, and here the gas is liberated, that is the biogas or any type of gas, maybe the methane gas or any type of organism which is utilized, that is methane liberating or methane forming bacteria are utilized, anaerobic bacteria are utilized, and this type of gas is formed and which can be utilized for the further process, maybe for the source of energy. So here sludge is utilized for the development or the synthesis of the energy. Now coming up to the tertiary wastewater treatment. So the tertiary wastewater treatment, this tertiary treatment is final cleaning process. You can say that it is nothing but the final cleaning process. And that improves the wastewater quality before it is reused. इसको reuse करने से पहले या फिर recycle करने से पहले और discharge somewhere else, we have, this is you can say that okay, it is the improved process that improves the wastewater की quality को क्या करता है, improve करता है before it is reused. reuse करने से पहले, before reuse, recycle or discharge. discharge. So this is the treatment process which removes the remaining inorganic compounds and substances such as nitrogen and phosphorus. So you can say that by this process we are removing the inorganic compounds from the wastewater. So the removal of non-biodegradable organic pollutants and a significant percentage of nutrient like the nitrogen and phosphorus is removed during this process. And also the coliform bacterial count is also seen. It should be less than 2.2% per milliliter. So you can say that by means of presence of this bacteria, that is coliform bacteria, we can say that this water is totally clear, or now this water has no harm impact on the other any type of if it is disposed in open or on any type of the natural resources. So the disposal of the wastewater after secondary and the tertiary treatment, also the wastewater after the secondary and tertiary treatment, the wastewater is sparkling liquid or clear liquid, you can say that. So after the treatment of secondary and tertiary, we can find out the water which was very turbid, now it is sparkling and clear liquid. And this treated waste water is said to be the effluent. Now this wastewater is disposed by two methods normally. So the first method is said to be the disposal in natural water. So the treatment process is totally over. Now we have to dispose the waste water. Now treated water. So we are going to dispose this water either in the natural water or on the land. So if the wastewater effluents or the effluent can be disposed of onto the nearby lakes, rivers or ponds, maintaining a required level of dissolved oxygen for the survival of fish and other aquatic lives, then we can say that it is said to be, one method is said to be disposal in natural water. Next is disposal on land. The wastewater effluent can be spread over the land or a field. So here you can say that the effluent is spread over the land और द फील्ड डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द टाइप्स ऑफ सॉइल. सॉइल को कंसिडर करने के बाद ये क्या किया जाता है, स्प्रेड किया जाता है ऑन द लैंड. नाउ कमिंग अप टू द रीयूज. The reuse of the wastewater. So here it is disposed of in the farms, disposed on the lands. Now coming up to the reuse of the wastewater. The wastewater effluent is reused for the following purposes. So the water which has been treated can be reused for certain purposes. It may be the agriculture reuse. So if the water or treated water is used for the agricultural purpose, then we used to say that agriculture reuses. And here you can say that the wastewater or the treated water, it is used for the crop irrigation. Crop irrigation, cattle bathing, etc. So if the treated water is used for the agriculture purpose, then it is said to be the agriculture reuses, and which include the crop irrigation as well as the cattle bathing, which does not create any type of the harm impact. Next is industrial reuses. So most of the industry, they require much larger quantity of the water. So cooling like process, cooling, cleaning and gardening, this process, here we can use this type of the water treated water or the effluent. Next, coming up to the municipal reuses. So here street washing या फिर watering of the public parks. You can say that here street washing, watering public parks, flushing toilet, etc. Here we can utilize the municipal or you can utilize the effluent. Next, coming up to recreational reuses. So in case of recreational reuses, fishing includes fishing, boating, park watering, public fountain, golf course, yeah, maintenance of wildlife and fish pond, etc. Here we can utilize the effluent. So you can say that the wastewater effluent can even be supplied for the domestic consumption, including drinking at places where there is an acute shortage of the water, where it proves to be costly to bring water from the distant sources. But in such cases, the quality of the water should be maintained and by well qualified expert, and such standards should be strictly enforced. So we can say that by treating this wastewater, we are converting the waste into the usable form, and here we are utilizing the usable form in order to make the water available. So today we have completed the each and every topic of the wastewater treatment. So you know what is primary treatment, secondary treatment and the tertiary treatment. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.